Hey there, I want to share with you 7 simple tips I hope will make your Class 2 composite restorations more efficient. I'm Ash from All Things Dentistry, the place where we're passionate about sharing those unwritten hints and tips of dentistry. If you're new here, welcome. If you like what you're learning, take a second to subscribe and like this video. I'm super grateful for your time. We're going to replace this maxillary premolar Class 2 amalgam that fractured a few months ago. You know, when I see these types of cases, I get concerned the patient may have decay extending all the way into the pulp and possibly causing asymptomatic irreversible pulpitis or just pulpal necrosis. You never know how long that restoration has been leaking, and the decay may have spread like wildfire. Before you get started, it's important to ensure the tooth is vital by completing a simple cold test. Tip number 1, diamond burrs. I honestly thought diamond burrs were only for crown and bridge, like onlays and crowns and whatnot, and I only used to use them for that until I was introduced to these replica diamond burrs that are like your regular 330, 245, or 557, and they are so much smoother and maybe not more efficient, but smoother at removing tooth structure and restored material. And you know what? You can get single-use sterilized diamond burrs like this 557 for a decent price. So give them a shot. They might actually make your day a little bit smoother. Tip number 2, restorative matrices for composite. Honestly, I didn't even know there were premolar specific matrices. This one's from Garrison. Most places I've worked typically only have like 2 different matrices available. And in my experience, this little detail, so we're using a premolar specific Garrison matrice right here. And I find that just this little detail translates into about a 10 to 15% reduction in restorative time. Tip number 3, strategy wedges. Wow, these little wedges, you know, like these little caterpillar ones, have made such a difference in my practice. I used to use wood ones because the plastic ones I previously tried always slipped out of the embrasure. And then one day I'm walking by operatory and she says, "Here, try these." Holy moly, what a difference. So I typically only use the blue or orange to aid in separation, but also really to seal up that gingival portion. And now I don't really overuse an oversized wedge because a lot of contact development comes from the matrix ring. So I routinely need to hold myself back from burnishing the matrix against the adjacent teeth. Otherwise, my contact is way too tight. Tip number 4, immediate dent and sealing. This has been a game changer for me. I use a self-etch adhesive, Scotch Bond Universal, and selectively etch the enamel. I use the self-etching properties to decrease post-operative sensitivity, especially to cold. I have become a huge believer in IDS after I experienced the effectiveness with my own personal onlays and preventing cold sensitivity. Here, I'm scrubbing in the adhesive into dentin as per the manufacturer's instructions, and then we'll blow air to evaporate the adhesive solvent. We all do this. But I didn't know in a recent systematic review based on in vitro studies, careful with that, but there's still some value there, they reported that the adhesive solvent drying time of 5 to 10 seconds may be insufficient to achieve durable bonding to dentin. Instead, they found that solvent evaporation time should be extended 15 to 30 seconds. If you're interested, check out the article itself. I put a link in the description box below, and you can download it and read it at your leisure. Tip number 5, white round stone. I can't believe I'm actually talking about this. So I found this high-speed white ball similar to what you're seeing in a burr block one day years ago, and I was wondering what on earth could somebody be using this for? Well, it turns out it's an effective way to reduce the occlusion of my composite without gouging it or removing tooth structure. I use the adjacent tooth as an indicator as to how much I need to reduce the restoration to. And yes, there are lots of different types of composite burrs available, but I find this ball is super handy because I don't have to change the side of my handpiece. Now, if I was using a football burr, I can go along the buccal side, but then I have to switch my handpiece over to the palatal side to make it more efficient. This, I can just roll that ball around, and it's so much easier. Tip number 6, and this is my favorite, the occlusal embrasure. So you're seeing a number 15 blade. The hardest thing I've found to create during Class 2 composite restorations is that occlusal embrasure. I mean, for years I used to use a flame finishing burr to try to create this subtle detail, and it helps the patient enable them to floss between their teeth. But I always gouged the restoration, and it was a losing battle with that flame burr. And even at slower RPMs, it's super tricky to use. I now routinely use a number 15 blade, which you're seeing here, or a 12B blade to create that subtle feature, which is so hard to do with burrs. And what I do is I tell the patient that I'm doing some fine detail work, and I apologize for the chipping noise, because it is a chipping noise that's going on, but it's so much more precise. And the 12 blade is really useful to remove flash from the buccal or palatal side or the gingival side. And because the 12B blade has actually a blade it's sharpened on the back side of it, I can use it to do the occlusal embrasure as well. And finally, tip number 7, checking the occlusion. So when I check the occlusion, I actually ask the patient if the contralateral teeth connect normally. That side is usually not numb on the contralateral side, and it's a quick estimate to determine if my restoration is high or adequate. Of course, I use articulating paper as well to determine where I need to reduce and make sure that we have adequate contacts. And I use both techniques to reduce the occlusion back to the way it was preoperatively. So that concludes our 7 tips for composite restorations. I thank you so much for being here, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Hey, Ash here, and I wanted to take a second of your time just to introduce our course, Root Canal Like an Endodontist. We've had it for a couple years, and we've had some amazing successes through it. Just confidence building on behalf of our students. And really what happened was a few years ago, I wanted to create a course to help others because I know what it's like on your endo journey. A lot of times you don't know what's going on. You don't know if you've ledged it. You don't know what to do if you blocked it. You don't even know if a curved canal, what to do. And what I wanted to do was take all my mistakes and my training from my residency and put it into a affordable online course for everyone around the world to join in. And it's been absolutely amazing. And I wanted to offer to you, check us out at allthingsendo.ca. Once you join the course, you get access into our private Facebook group where all of us answer questions. And I'm telling you, there are questions every day that you might be able to, I'm sure you'll be able to connect with, because sometimes it just takes a little bit of courage to ask a question and then your outcome may be incredible. Anyways, I look forward to seeing you there. allthingsendo.ca. We'll talk to you soon.